Shalom to my brothers and sisters in the body of Yahushua HaMashiach. And I'm bringing this word to you today because I found more confirmation to prove that the Greek kingdom is also Esau kingdom. Yes, my people, he had migrated into Greece, or what we call modern day Greece, and he has also ruled that kingdom as well. But let us first open up with 2nd Esdras chapter 6. And I will read the summary of that chapter, and then I will read verses 7 through 9. Yahuwah's purpose is eternal. The next world shall follow this immediately. What shall fall out at the last? He is promised more knowledge and reckon up the works of the creation, and complaineth that they have no part in the world from whom it was made. So let us now go to verse 7 through 9. 2nd Ezra chapter 6, verse 7. There answered I and said, what shall be the parting asunder of the times? Or when shall be the end of the first, and the beginning of it that followeth? And he said unto me, from Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born of him, Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. So, in my prior videos, I give a detailed lesson about who is Esau and understanding his kingdom, because this does relate to the end time prophecies. And so if you want further understanding on that, I highly recommend that you watch those videos. But now this lesson is focused on that the Greeks are a part of Esau's kingdom. Now we already know that the Roman kingdom is a part of Esau's kingdom. But now I want to prove to you today that the Greeks' kingdom is also a part of his kingdom as well. So let me give you a little history about our different captivities periods, because when you get the King James 1611 Bible, you will learn that the children of Israel went through several major captivities. We know they went through the ancient Babylonian captivity, which followed after that. After that, the Persian captivity. Then we have the Greeks captivity, and now today we are still within the Roman captivity, because America does still give power to Rome, even though it don't seem like it, but there are proofs and signs that she still does. Okay, so as I was updating this post today dealing with the 7 churches of Asia, the information that I was putting on this post gave more confirmation that the Greek kingdom is Esau kingdom too. So this is a quick review. I'm not going to go through everything. I do suggest you watch that first video that I did on the 7 churches of Asia, which is basically the 7 churches in Turkey, to get full understanding of why we need to follow this also in the end time prophecies. But basically, when I look at the 7 churches, I noticed that most of them was an ancient Greek city. And the reason is that when the Greeks established their kingdoms, when they was going out ruling other countries and conquering them, they established these ancient Greek cities in those conquered lands. So when you look at the list, Ephesus was one of them. Smyrna was one of them. Also, when you have some time, I would pause this screen so that way you can read all the details of these 7 churches and where you can find them at today. Okay. Also, Pergamos, which is the seat of Satan, is another ancient Greek city. Thyatira is another ancient Greek city, which was renamed by Nicator to that name, but the original name was Pelopia. Okay. Also, let me see what else, which was another one. That was the only one. Those was the only 4 that I know of that are of the ancient Greek cities who was under the reign of the Greeks. Okay, so when you get some spare time, take this slide here and just pause it so you can read over the information. All right, but let us go further down. Also, for FYI, now when the Bible is talking about Asia, it's not talking about what we think of Asia today. Okay, it's actually talking about Asia Minor, which is also known to be Turkey, or Phrygia, and or Anatolia. Okay, so when you read about Asia, that's what it's talking about. Because remember, that's where the apostles went to preach the gospel. Okay, to those seven churches. Also, here, when I was adding some information to this post today, I began to see the connection of the Greek kingdom to these seven churches. For you know that in this location, in the country of Turkey, this is where you had them. I'm trying to find. Here it go. This is where you have them practicing the worship of Roman emperors and also other deities, other gods. For it says that Asia, which is Turkey, was the center of Roman and Hellenistic are basically the Greeks. So it was the center of the Roman and Hellenistic cultures for many centuries. Okay. And also Asia became a part of the Byzantine Empire too for a very long time until the end of the 13th century. So this is very important to know, to understand, because this will relate to end time prophecy and what's going on. Again, in your spare time, I highly recommend that you watch this video. So here's one of the pieces of evidence to connect Esau to Greece or to the Greeks was this. When I looked up Thracians, actually, let me go to that first site. When I looked up, about red hair, because my brother Esau is the progenitor of the red hair. And so wherever he go, he leaves that mark behind. So on the Wikipedia website, and I will put this link in the description box so you can do further study for yourselves. Under the geographic distribution, under the subtitle historical, they write this. They said that several accounts by Greek writers mention red-headed people. A fragment by the poet Xenophanes described the Thracians as blue-eyed and red hair. So when I looked up, I'm going to highlight this area so you can see where I went to. When I looked up Thracians to see who they are, I also learned that they are the Indo-European tribes. Now, this Indo-European tribe had red hair and blue eyes, and they dwelt in the country, what we call modern-day Greece. Okay? So also, let me show you a map. This is their map here, so you can see. This is where they dwelt in modern-day Greece. But also, I was looking at the listing of the area that they dwell in. And under identity and distribution, I found that one of those areas was Macedonia. Now, this is very important because when we talk about Alexander the Great, it's going to tie these two groups of people in to confirm that Edom was there. Okay. Also, I want to show you a modern day map of Greece, which is more bigger right here. And this is where the Thracians dwell too. Okay. So you know me, I did some digging and I came across this site to prove that there was red-haired people in Greece. So when I went to this article and its title is What Race Were the Greeks and Romans? I found this very important piece of information highlighted in blue. It said many small terracotta figurines from Greece of the 4th century BC has survived with traces of paint. They show light hair, usually reddish brown, and blue eyes, as do larger statues from the time of the Persian Wars in the early 5th century BC. Even a cursory examination of ancient marble reliefs, statues, and busts reveals European features. Many other faces could just as easily be those of Celtic chieftains or Viking kings. So this is one of the proofs, my people, that my brother Edom, who is also called Esau, did migrate to the European nations and their lands, and he did intermingle with them. And this is how he established his kingdoms within those nations, okay, which fulfilled the prophecy in Genesis chapter 25 and 27 on how he would be given dominion, and also fulfilling that prophecy in 2nd Esdras chapter 6, for we know we are in Esau kingdom. But let me read the second paragraph because this gets very interesting. There is more evidence of the appearance of the Greeks. Xenophon, an Ionian Greek philosopher who lived in the 5th century BC, was amused to note that different peoples believed that the gods looked like themselves. Listen to that now. They believe that the gods look like them. Let us keep reading. Our gods have flat noses and black skins, say the Ethiopians. The Thracians, despite of Professor Cohen's observation above, say our gods have red hair and hazel eyes. Indeed, a 4th century BC fresco of a Thracian woman found in Esdras mound in central Bulgaria shows distinctly red hair and European features right here. So this is proof, my people, that Edom has planted his seed among the Greeks, and that was his kingdom. Let us go to another area of proof. I came across this on the web, and it comes from a book titled The Old Paths or the Talmud Tested by Scripture, 2nd edition by Alexander McCall. Again, I will put these links in the description box so you can have them for further study. But what we're going to read is this first paragraph right here. And the title of it is Intolerance of Rabbinic Prayers, page 123. The prophet mentions Egypt and Edom. Egypt on account of the Turks, and Edom on account of the Roman Empire. And these two have now had dominion for a long time and will continue until the redemption. This is the 4th beast in the vision of Daniel. And this is said because the majority of the Roman Empire is composed of Edomites. For although many other nations are mixed among them, as is also the case with the Turkish Empire, they are called after the root. Kimchai then fixes Edom upon the Roman Empire, in which he evidently includes the Greek Empire. For he wrote in the 12th century, long before the Constantinopolitan dynasty was overturned. Albin Astra gives a similar interpretation on the blessing of Esau. So this is proof, my people, that he has mingled himself with the other nations. He has established his kingdom or his reign through those nations, and one of them are the Greeks, which later on transfer over to the Romans. It's still him, still come from the same root. I also want to mention that in Daniel's prophecies, when you read chapter 8 and chapter 11, he talks about, and I think it's also chapter 7, he talks about the 10 toes. Now, the 10 toes does represent the Greek kingdoms, and each of these Greek kingdoms had a certain name. And also on Facebook, Yor and I had a note on this, and I forgot the title, but it's just look up the part that's deal with Daniel. Type in Daniel and you should find it on Facebook. If not, I will also put a link of that note in the description bar, because a lot of the prophecies that Daniel has written has came to pass, and the rest of his prophecies are still coming to pass. So history does line up with the Bible, my people. So let us go to the next slide for proof. Now, Alexander the Great is talked about in the book of Maccabees, first, and I want to say second, but definitely the first book of Maccabees. If you have the King James 1611 Bible, you will see it. The other Bible copies do not have the Apocrypha. They took it out because they did not want you to know the whole truth. But getting back on the topic, look at this picture. Now, I had a copy of this movie with this actor in it. I forgot his name. But according to history, we know that Alexander the Great had blonde hair and blue eyes and white skin. Also, we know that his mother said that he was not the son of Philip, that actually he was a son of a deity or some god that she slept with. Now we know in Esau's kingdom that he has joined himself to Satan and his fallen angels. And this is how we got the Nordics, the giants, and the Neanderthal. And the Neanderthal are not human, my people. Scientists are now saying they are not human, they are of a different species. Okay? So here's the confirmation. The confirmation is not through Alexander the Great, but it's through his mother. Let's learn about his mother. According to history, Alexander the Great mother, whose name is Olympias, she has red hair, my people. But before I even talk about that, let us first read what Wikipedia says about her, because even the movie that I have of Alexander the Great confirms that she did this. Olympias was a daughter of King Epirus, and King Epirus was a Greek king, my people. She was also the fourth wife of King of Macedonia, Philip II, and she is the mother of Alexander the Great. Now, here's the key thing you need to know about Olympias. She was a devout member of the orgiastic snake worshiping culture of Dionysus. And I believe that word DionYsus is also in the book of Acts. Do a word search on it, my people. So in other words, she worships snakes. But here's another thing that you didn't probably know about her. And it said and Wikipedia said, and it is suggested by the first century AD biographer Plutarch that she may have slept with snakes. Now we know under Esau's kingdom, they do not worship the Most High, my people. They worship Satan and his fallen angels. They are the hypocrites of the Most High word. They try to portray they are Christians or true believers or Masonic believers or the Jewish people, but they are not. They had deceived the whole world into believing in their philosophies and doctrines. They have deceived the whole world and pulling people away from the true word of the Most High. But let us keep going on learning about Olympias, because I got some more evidence about her. And this one source that I went to, it confirms that she had red hair. And I went to ancient EU Olympias. And this person wrote and said this person wrote, and when it was writing, they said they was talking about Philip. Okay. And he said that when Philip saw the young Olympias, a red-headed woman with intoxicating beauty and a fiery temper, it was love at first sight. Plutarch wrote, after Philip had been initiated on Samothrace, along with Olympias, he fell passionately in love with her. And although he was only a young adult and she was an orphan, He went right ahead and betrothed himself to her. That's proof, my people. Now we know Olympias is an Edomite because Edomites have the red hair. Another site to confirm that she should have red hair. I went to GreekReporter.com, okay? And it said here in the area highlighted in blue, of the two queens that are candidates, Olympias is far more likely to have red hair. Now we know Esau, who is called Edom, is the progenitor of the red hair, my people. See, he tried to mix with other nations to get rid of his ancient traits, but he can't get rid of that red hair. This is why we see some blondes with red hues in their hair. This is why we see brunettes who have red hues in their hair. Do you see what Edom has done, my people? He has hidden himself among the other nations. For we know the European nation consists of the sons of Japheth and of the serpent seed, and that serpent seeds are the Nordics, who have blue eyes, white skin, blonde hair. The serpent seed also are the giants and the Neanderthal. And according to science, they even found Neanderthal with red hair. Also for the giants, they have found giant remains, and some of them have red hair. So you can see the evidence that my brother has been mixing with mankind as well as with the fallen angelical kind. He's been mixing with them. Remember Daniel chapter 2, I think it's verse 23 or verse 43, will prove that these fallen angels, Satan and his fallen angel, has been mixing their seed among mankind. But let us keep going. Now, I do have videos to confirm everything I'm saying, so I highly suggest that you watch the video on Esau, and as well as other videos I have on YouTube, so you can get the full picture. Because this video again is just showing you that the Greek kingdom is Esau kingdom, and that the Greeks are the Grecians. That's written in the Bible. Okay. So here we have another picture of an actress who played a part in the making of Alexander the Great. Take a look at her hair right here. It's brunette, and I guarantee you, son, that light on it is red. Let me also go to that page, because when you go to that page, which I also have here, but when you go to that page, when Jolene played the part, see, redness. And you know, with most movies, they try to match up with what history say. So you can really see this very well. Redness. And here goes some other actress who play those parts too as well. Okay. So we now know that Olympus, the mother of Alexander the Great, has red hair. And we know she definitely was an Edomite. Okay. Who slept with snakes and worshiped them. Now that's a heathen for you. The next area we're going to go to are the scriptures. This is the meat of the bone. Okay? This is the meat here. So I'm going to take you first to First Maccabees chapter 8, verse 1. This will confirm that the Greeks are the Grecians, my people. That is written in the Bible. And the Greek kingdom is Esau kingdom too. So when you see the word Grecians, or when you see the word Greece, he's talking to Edomites as well. Okay? I need to refresh the page. I got the wrong chapter. Hold on. We're going to First Maccabees chapter 9. And we're going to read a summary to you first. Bear with me. You know how the computer is. It don't move fast enough when you want to move fast enough when you're trying to get to what you're trying to get to. All right, Maccabees chapter 1, chapter 9. And let me make sure I got the right chapter. We actually going to first Maccabees chapter 8. I am so sorry. I apologize. Maccabees chapter 8. Just bear with me on this. Okay, Maccabees chapter 8. I'm going to start with the summary first. Judas is informed of the power and policy of the Romans and make a league with them, the articles of that league. Now, this will give you a little history about the book of Maccabees. The book of Maccabees, first and second, are dealing with my people in the land of Israel. For when the strangers look at our land, they divided it into different provinces. So this was pertaining in the province of Judea, my people. Now remember, even during the Greeks' time, there was a province of Galilee, a province of Samaria, and a province of Judea. So I highly recommend that you start doing a study on that so you can understand. Even during the Roman captivity, within the land of Israel, there was a province of Galilee, a province of Samaria, and a province of Judea. So in the first and second Maccabees, this was dealing with what happened within the land of Judea, mostly focused their attention at Jerusalem. Okay. So let us read verse 18 first, and then we'll come back to verse 9. Because verse 18 is the solid proof about who are the Grecians. Okay. Verse 18. And to entreat them that they would take the yoke from them. For they saw that the kingdom of the Greeks did oppress Israel with servitude. They went therefore to Rome, which was a very great journey, and came into the Senate, where they spake and said, Judas Maccabeus with his brethren and the people of the Jews has sent unto you to make a confederacy and peace with you, that we might be registered your confederates and friends. So at this time, my people was under the Greek captivity, and they were seeking out to the Romans for help because of the oppressions from the Greeks. Also, I read verse 9. Okay. Verse 9. Moreover, how the Grecians had determined to come and destroy them. Okay. And that they having knowledge thereof sent against them a certain captain, and fighting with them slew many of them, carried away captives their wives and their children, and spoiled them, and took possessions of their lands, and pulled down their strongholds, and brought them to be their servants unto this day. So that's giving you a little bit of history about the Grecians and what they were doing. I highly suggest that you read this whole chapter, because right now I'm just giving you the highlights, like the important verses, to prove to you that the Grecians are the Greeks. So the next area that we need to go to in the book of Maccabees is First Maccabees chapter 6, verse 2. First Maccabees chapter 6, verse 2. First Maccabees chapter 6, verse 2. And that there was in it a very rich temple, wherein were coverings of gold and breastplates, and shields which Alexander, son of Philip, the Macedonian king, who first reigned first among the Grecians, had left there. Let me read this again. This is another proof, my people. And shields which Alexander, son of Philip, the Macedonian king, who reigned first among the Grecians, had left there. So you know that the Greeks went out throughout the old world and started conquering other lands. It's kind of like the setup of what the Romans did. They went out and conquered these other lands and making them to fall under their kingdoms and rulership. and also, Hellenize them as well. Forgive my tongue because I will twist words. So let us go to the next verse in the book of Maccabees. Maccabees chapter 1, verse 10. Okay, Maccabees chapter 1, verse 10. And that and there came out of them a wicked root, Antiochus surnamed Epiphanes, son of Antiochus the king, who had been a hostage of Rome. And he reigned in the 137th year of the kingdom of the Greeks. Again, the Grecians are Greeks, my people. And they was under the reign of Alexander the Great, which we know later on when he died, his kingdom was split among his people. Okay. Read Daniel chapter 8 talks about that, and Daniel chapter 11 talks about that. And if I remember, I would try to put the link of our note that would give you more details on how that kingdom was split according to the prophecy of Daniel. All right. Now, Antioch Epiphanes was a wicked, wicked man. And the book of Maccabees will tell you about him and his faith. But he was the son of Antiochus the third the Great. All right. And Antiochus the third the Great was in battle with the Romans. And this is how the Romans acquired the land of Asia, which is Turkey. Okay. And when you read about the histories of the Antiochus kingdom, you follow it, you would see that they really wanted Asia back, but the Romans owned that land. In other words, they owned that territory. It was now under their kingdom. So you see how it's important to understand the history of the seven churches and also the history of Asia, which is Turkey, for it still relates to the end times prophecy and on why Iran wants Turkey back. But let us keep moving to the next verse. So the next verse would be Second Maccabees chapter 4, verse 15. Okay, we're going to Second Maccabees chapter 4, verse 15. And this one I will read a summary so you can see what is the scene, what is going on, because I'm not going to read the whole chapter to you. So the summary of Maccabees chapter 4 is Simon slandereth Ananias. Jason, by corrupting the king, attaineth the office of the high priest. Menelaus getteth the same from Jason by the like corruption. Andronicus traitorously murdereth Ananias. The king, being informed thereof, calleth Andronicus to be put to death. The wickedness of Lysimachus by the instigation of Menelaus. I'm sorry, my tongue is not good when it comes to these certain words. So as you can see, based on the summary, some of my people betray their own people. And they took onto the heathen ways. And this is why the Maccabees rose up against that, because we was given the covenant of the Most High, and that was the law we should follow. But I'm going to start at verse 7. Okay. And the key verse it's going to lead us to is verse 15. But after the death of Seleucus, when Antiochus called Epiphanes, took the kingdom, Jason, the brother of Ananias, labored underhand to be high priest. So Jason wanted to be the high priest, but Ananias was. Okay, so you're going to see he about to do some underhandedness. Verse 8. So what he does, promising unto the king by intercession 360 talents of silver, and of another revenue 80 talents. Besides this, he promised to assign 150 more if he might have license to set him up a place for exercise and for the training up of youth in the fashions of the heathen, and to write them of Jerusalem by the name of the Antiochians. Do you see how our people do? Even today, we got traitors. We call them today agents that have sold out to the government, that have sold out to the government of Satan for men, for for this worthless treasure of the world. But let us keep reading, verse 10. Which when the king have granted, he have gotten into his hand the rule. He forthwith brought his own nation to the Greekish fashions and the royal privileges granted of special favor to the Jews by the means of John, the father of Oikoumene, who went ambassador to Rome for amity and aid. He took away and putting down the governments which were according to the law. He brought up new customs against the law. For he built gladly a place of exercise under the tower to it, under the tower itself, and brought the chief young men under his subjection, and made them wear a hat. He made them wear a hat. Verse 13. Now such was the height of Greek fashions, an increase of heathenish manners, through the exceeding profanes of Jason, that ungodly wretch, and no high priest. So Jason was wicked. Do you see, my people? I'm letting you know now, those who have betrayed the children of Israel, who has become agent of Satan's government. You would you have not gained anything. You have lost your soul, and we be damned to the eternal lake of fire if you don't repent and make it right with the Most High. This is my warning to you right now. Do not fear the one who can kill the body, fear the one who can destroy your soul. But let us keep reading. Verse 14. That the priests had no courage to serve any more at the altar, but despising the temple and neglecting the sacrifices, hastened to be partakers of the unlawful allowance in the place of exercise. After the game of discus, called them forth, not settling by the honors of their fathers, but liking the glory of the Grecians best of all. So you see how they interchange the word Grecians and Greek back and forth for Alexander the Great Kingdom, who was passed on to Antiochus. No, that's one of the splits, went down to Antiochus. How some of my people was taken on to the heathen's ways. For as is written in verse 15, that they not setting by the honors of their fathers. I mean, they didn't honor the covenant, but instead, but liking the glory of the Grecians best of all. That's why the Maccabees rose up. They said, no, we're not having this. Let us keep going, my people. Let us go to verse Acts in chapter 6, verse 1. Acts chapter 6, verse 1. I got the wrong book. I'm sorry, my people. Acts chapter 6, verse 1. Acts chapter 6, verse 1. And in those days, when the number of the disciples was multiplied, there arose a murmur of the Grecians among the Hebrews, because their widows were neglected in daily ministration. Let us go to the next verse, my people. Acts chapter 9, verse 29. We're going to Acts 9, verse 29. Acts chapter 9, verse 29. And he spake boldly in the name of Yahushua HaMashiach, and disputed against the Grecians. But they went about to slay him. So when you get a chance, read that whole chapter to see, about the setting. But again, the word Grecians. Let's look at the next verse. Acts chapter 11, verse 20. Acts chapter 11, verse 20. Acts chapter 11, verse 20. And some of them were men of Cyprus and Cyrene, which, when they were come to Antioch, spake unto the Grecians, preaching Yahushua HaMashiach. So this again show you that the Grecians did move about. And remember, the Grecians came under the rulership of Alexander the Great, who was the Macedonian. So Grecian and Greek would be interchanged out for these groups of people. Do you see the connection here? Also, this proved the connection with the seven churches. For we know some of the seven churches was ancient Greek cities, my people. And even there, I wouldn't be surprised if you find in history that the Grecians lived there too, because it was under their kingdom before the Romans was given possession of it. Okay. Now here's the verse that's going to really tie all this in together. Okay. We're going to go to Acts chapter 3. Acts chapter 3. Not Acts chapter 3. I mean Joel chapter 3. And I'm going to read that chapter summary as well, so you can get the full understanding of that chapter, because it is a future prophecy, my people. It is a future prophecy. It says here in the chapter summary, Yahuwah's judgments against the enemies of his people. Yahuwah will be known in his judgment, his blessing upon the church. Okay? I highly suggest in your spare time, go to the King James 1611 site and read this chapter. Okay? Because the version copy that we have of the King James, it don't include everything of the original book. And the King James 1611 is the closest versions to the original Hebrew book, or the original Hebrew Holy Bible. So I highly suggest you go to the site. I'm going to list this website in the description box. But I highly advise you that you get a copy of this book. It can be purchased for around $20 or $30. You can find it on Amazon.com or any other site as well that sells this Bible. But it is easy to get. And for those who cannot get this Bible, you can also read this online like the way I'm doing now. So we have no excuse in this day and time. Verse 1. For behold, in those days, and in that time when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem, I will also gather all nations, and will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat, and will plead with them there for my people, and for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations, and parted my land. So here we can see this is a future prophecy. For we know the valley of Jehoshaphat is dealing with the battle of Armageddon that's written in Revelations, the book of Revelations. And the Most High is very upset of what the Gentile nation has done to his people. I also recommend that you read Psalms chapter 83 and Jeremiah chapter 18, verses 14 through 21. For this will come to pass. Now let us go to verse 3. And they have cast lots for my people, and have given a boy for a harlot, and so a girl for wine, that they might drink. So when you study the history of the transatlantic slave trade, you will find that this have come to pass. They have turned my brothers into harlots. They was using them to breed our people. See, they bred us as cattle. They didn't care. And then for my sisters, they would sell her for a bottle of wine. Now, I don't mean no harm. That is wicked and evil. But let us keep reading to see what is going to happen. What's going to be their judgment? Yea, and what have ye to do with me, O Tyre and Zidon, and all the coasts of Palestine? Will ye render me a recompense? And if ye recompense me, swiftly and speedily will I return your recompense upon your own head. So the Most High saying to them, you gonna pay me back? Okay. So you gonna pay me back in evil by mistreating my people and doing that wicked act. So I will repay you back too. That's what the Most High let them know. I'm gonna pay you back. Okay. And Tyre and Dazan are dealing with the children of Ham, because we know that's in the land of the Canaanites. And also we see that all the coasts of Palestine are going to be affected too. It's coming to pass. We also know that's where the Philistines dwell at too. But let us keep reading and see what they did to the Most High. Verse 5. Because ye have taken my silver and my gold, and have carried into your temples my goodly present things. So because they have taken the Most High treasure and put it in their temples. And in their temples, they worship other gods. And those gods are nothing but the fallen angels, my people, Satan and his angels. And that can be seen in ancient relics, from the Egyptian relics to the Samaritan relics. It's there. That's who they truly worship, my people. Let's read verse 6. The children also of Judah and the children of Jerusalem have ye sold unto the Grecians, that ye might remove them far from their border. So we know Grecians represent what? The Greeks, which also we know the Greeks are actually, the Greeks that they're talking about are actually what? Edom. So they sold us to our brother Edom, so that way they could carry us far away. So this is what the Most High said to them. Behold, I will raise them out of the place whether ye have sold them, and will return your recompense upon your own head. And I will sell your sons and your daughters into the hand of the children of Judah, and they shall sell them to the Sabaeans, to a people far off, for Yahuwah has spoken it. So, as you can see, Yahuwah is a righteous judge, because we all know whatever you reap, you're going to sow, right? So those two nations, Tyre and Sidon, as all in the area of all the coast of Palestine, is going to reap what they sow. Okay, to what they did. For they showed us to the Grecians, right? And even in Revelation, the book of Revelation says, whoever leads someone into captivity, they too will go into captivity. Because see, the Most High ain't playing. He don't like evil. And he will repay you back with evil for what you did. Okay? So he's going to give them to what? The Sabaeans. Now the Sabaeans are the Arabs. All right? And to understand what lineage of people they are, they dwell in modern day Yemen. They are the sons of Shem, which lead to the lineage of the son of Abraham, because Abraham, when he remarried after Sarah's death, he married a woman named Keturah. And Keturah gave him a son, or I think it, yeah, because Keturah gave him a son who also gave him a grandson who was named Sheba. Now I am aware of Ham's son, because Ham has a son named Sheba too. But with the Sabians that he's talking about, they are the ones who dwell in Yemen. Okay, so the ones who dwell in Yemen are dealing with the sons of Shem, who also is the son of Abraham, that comes from the mother Keturah. Now let's go back to this tab here. You need to make a decision. I don't care if you are Israelite, Edomite, or Gentile. You're going to need to choose which kingdom you want to be in. You can stay joined to Esau kingdom, but I'm letting you know now it's going to be destroyed. The Most High is about to bring it down. Or you can choose to be in Jacob kingdom, which is the kingdom of eternal life, which is the new heaven and new earth, which is Yahuwah's kingdom, and the kingdom of where Yahushua HaMashiach is the King of kings and the high priest. So you need to decide which kingdom you want to be in, my people. For now, there's only two groups of people. You have the children of light, which are the children of Yahuwah, versus the children of darkness, which are the children of Satan. And the children of light going to have the Holy Spirit dwelling in them. And the children of darkness going to have the Antichrist spirit dwelling in them. So you need to decide today whether you want to spend eternity. Because I'm talking about your soul now. Because see, judgment is coming to all nations. Nothing can stop this judgment that's coming for what Edom and those Gentile nations have done to the children of Israel. It's coming, my people. And it's nothing you can do to stop it. But you can choose today on which side you want to get on. You can choose today on which kingdom you want to get in. I'd rather be in Jacob's kingdom, where I know righteousness is going to dwell, and where there's not going to be no more evil there. It's only going to be righteousness. I'd rather be in that kingdom instead of being cast into the eternal lake of fire. Now, those who decide to become a child of the Most High, I'm going to let you know it's not going to be easy. For the spiritual cross that you have to bear is not an easy yoke. It's going to be hard because your own people will reject you. They will hate you and despise you. They will alienate themselves from you. So this is where your faith come in. The Most High said he has what? He has an inheritance for you. He has promises for you. But you're going to have to believe that my Father's going to keep his end of the bargain. So once you become a child of the Most High, you got a job to do, my people. You must give the whole truth, no matter who they are. And we have to stop pleasing man and start pleasing Yahuwah, the Most High. And we need to preach the gospel. The same gospel that Yahushua HaMashiach was preaching when he walked this earth, that's the same gospel we need to preach. And he preached the kingdom of heaven is at hand to all nations. That was his commandment. We was to preach that gospel to all nations and to baptize them in his name. So choose today which kingdom you want to be in. Esau kingdom, who will be destroyed, or Jacob kingdom. Shalom.